Hey inky friends, it's Bailey from the Fountain Pen Ink Station here with day 20 of 30 Inks 30 Days. I'm compiling Monday through Sunday together. So let's start with day 20. Mondays feels like a really Monday. And so let's get started. We've had quite a few yellow gold inks and blue. Apparently the universe wants us to have blue inks, so we'll see what today is. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to actually move these out of the way. Someone had asked what a dice tower is. So I'm going to show mine. It's a 3D printed tower that you can put your dice in and it rolls. I do that because I don't have good dexterity thanks to my nerves and my nerve issues with autoimmune. So you basically put the dice in and you roll it, and you can do different variations. This is just one my husband had 3D printed back when we first started 3D printing. And so it's just one I've been using. Okay, you can also use like a Yahtzee cup if you want to get really generic. Okay, let's get to rolling. The first dice for color is number 7. Hey, we get a pink ink. Where is my pencil? Okay, so I'm going to write number 7. And then for our prompt, roll it. And number 5. So it has to be a Birmingham Pen Company ink. So 5. Okay, friends, let me see what I have. It was going to be an easy choice, and then it hit me with the Birmingham Pen Company ink, and I don't have a lot of pinks. So let's just see what we have. I'll be back, friends. Okay, friends. Well, I'm going to have to go with the only pink Birmingham Pen Company ink I have, and that is Blossom Lotus. It says mystery ink, but it is Blossom Lotus. This is the only pink Birmingham Company ink I have. Does Birmingham Company not make that many pink inks, friends? Please let me know down in the comments. I have a lot of samples from Birmingham Pen Company. This is the only pink, which is odd. So I have actually never used this ink. I've never put it in a pen. So this is why we do this, friends. I don't know how this ink writes, so I'm hoping it will write fine in this Jinhao 82. We're going to give it a whirl and see what happens. And I recently cleaned these. I think I had a shimmer ink in here. So it'll be interesting to see if I catch any shimmer left in that in the converter. So I got some air in here. I don't know if you can see that air bubble. Sometimes when you pull it down like this, that helps. I think this is gonna be a mess. Okay, I'm gonna do this with my cloth actually. Also friends, wasn't there like a tea berry ice cream? Or a tea berry, I don't know if it was called ice cream. A tea berry ink that was pink. Let me know. I'm just thinking maybe the makers over at Birmingham Pen Company don't like pink ink. I've had purple inks from them. Let's see if this writes off the bat. It might need a priming. Again, I have no experience with this ink other than initially swatching it. Would I say Blossom Lotus or Lotus Blossom? Oh shoot. Hold please. That's what it looks like, friends. Blossomed Lotus. when I was initially gifted this ink, it was part of an Advent calendar, and I didn't write with it. Well, I mean, I want to say that. I didn't reach for pink ink. Now, however, and I can't remember if this video will come out before or after the other video that I'm talking about, my tastes have been changing, and I actually really like to write with pink ink now. Jinhao 82. I think this is a medium nib. Yep, medium. And we're just going to call this Pink Sparkles. I had to ask my husband. He had gotten me a Conklin Durograph for Christmas. And I couldn't find it on Atlas because it was an Atlas exclusive. And so I had asked him to look up the name for me. And you should have seen the look he gave me. He's like, "What do you mean?" Friends, if you know, you know. Like, I want to know what the resin is called, or the model, like not just the model, but like the colorway is called. So I had to try to explain that to him, and that was really hard for me to do because I just know, like, I know what I'm looking for, but I didn't buy it. He bought it, and I can't find it on the website anymore. So hopefully he'll be able to pull that up for me so I can figure that out. This looks like a kind of like a cherry popsicle. And on the swatch, there's like orange coming through. That's fascinating. Have you used this ink before, friends? If so, let me know. Oops. Let me do that again. Let me know in the comments what your experience is with this. All right. So day 20, Blossomed Lotus. We'll see how I write with it at the end of the week, but for right now. And then let's look at this when it dries. I'll be back. Okay, friends, this is mostly dry. For day 20, we have a Birmingham Pen Company Blossomed Lotus in my Jinhao 82 with a medium nib. It's a very bright pink. There is some orange coming through on the swatch. Very interesting. I will see. I like how legible it is when it dries. We'll see how much I reach for this, friends. We'll see you back here for day 21. Bye, friends. All right, friends, we're on day 21 of 30 inks, 30 days. Yesterday, as a reminder, we rolled this Birmingham Pen Company ink, Blossom Lotus. Look how bright. I don't know if you can see how bright that is. It almost matches this ink I used over here. And did you think I wrote that down? No. But I do think it is Cat at Noon from Ink Institute. So at the end of this video, when I review the inks, maybe I'll show that. So let's get started, friends. We'll see what the universe has us in store for today. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. Move my dice tower up. Okay. See if we're in focus. All right, so let's roll our dice. See what color we get. Number 1. Why do I feel like that's another yellow or gold ink? Ooh, friends. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, we can take it, right? All right, let's see what prompt we get. 9. Write 3 sentences. That's different. All right, let me pause the video. Let me see what yellow or gold inks I have. And then see what kind of pen I could put in. All right, I'll be back, friends. Okay, friends, I'm going to go with Vinta La Paz. I don't think there's shimmer in it. And then I'm going to pair it with my Skogsy, and I call this the Ocean Resin. And then I have a broad nib on this. So I was going to use my TWSBI Eco Tea. I had recently cleaned it out from the first round of 30 Inks 30 Days. But I like to match. I think that might be a better match. So we're going to go with the Skogsy. Move yesterday's pen out of the way. And I usually keep them off to the side when I'm journaling. I have them in a little cup. I'm just going to make sure there's no shimmer. No, there's not. I don't think I have put this in a pen yet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have not put it in a pen yet. So I'm not too familiar with this one. And I like to do about a half fill just in case I don't like the color, or if for some reason it doesn't work well with my pen. I can't remember if Skogsy has threaded converters or not. I don't think so. Okay, that was messy. It looks more brown. I'm a little worried that it's going to be more brown. But that just could be because it's gold. We're going to give it a whirl. I did prime it. I pushed up the air bubbles, so we'll see if this writes right away. So we have Vinta. Oh, no. That's never a good sign when it's like right off the bat. Okay, I'm going to prime it by dipping it. Vinta, and then I said La Paz. That looks gold. And then my Skogsy. Does anybody else have a Skogsy pen? I'm just going to call it the Ocean Resin. This is a really nice juicy nib. Okay, let me swatch it. I'm curious to see how dark it is in the actual swatch, if it looks more brown or not. Well, reminds me of spicy mustard. Interesting. We'll see if I regret not putting it in a smaller nib. Because it is quite legible. I was worried maybe it wouldn't be. All right, now let's do our prompt. Zoom you in a little bit. Okay, we'll see how this writes with a broad nib. Sorry, friends, I do have to angle my writing a little bit. So I'm just going to write 3 sentences that I pulled from my social work background in a book that I found. Okay, friends. Families pass down cultural traditions, including language, beliefs, religion, knowledge, and rituals. Cultural traditions are constantly in flux and constantly rapidly changing. Some people are nostalgic, while some people hold on to that change, and others welcome the change. I'm curious, friends, which ones do you embrace? Do you get nostalgic? Do you also embrace change? I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of do both. There's things that bring on a wave of nostalgia and sadness, grief, but also change can be a good thing. So I hope you have some introspection there. That could also be a good writing prompt. So that is what we have for day 21, Vinta La Paz in my Skogsy Ocean. It is really hard to write neatly in this brown nib. So we'll see at the end of the week how much I reached for it and what I thought. All right, friends. Catch you on day 22. Bye now. Hey, friends. Welcome back for day 22 of 30 Inks 30 Days. Yesterday we had a yellow gold ink, and we put that in our Skogsy pen, which had a broad nib. So far, it has been a very juicy writer. I don't reach for it very often yet, but still got a few more days to go before we do our recap. So let's see what we and the universe has in store for us today on day 22. Let's roll our dice. So the color we will have is that pink again, friends? Or is that yellow? It is yellow. No. Oh gosh, this universe. Okay. It's fine. We'll make it work. That's too funny. Maybe that's where I put my Toasty Eco tea. All right. Okay. All right. Let's move that out of the way. All right, and then we have 2, which is a waterproof ink. Oh no. Friends, we might have to change the rules a little bit. All right, friends, let me see what I have. I don't think I have any other yellow waterproof inks. So I might have to pivot. So let me be back. I'll be back in a second. Okay, friends, we're going to have to pivot. I think we're going to re-roll the waterproof part because I am getting low on waterproof inks. So let's just re-roll that one. Let me roll the prompt again. Waterproof. So apparently we need a waterproof ink. So we're going to re-roll and see what color we get. 11. That would be a blue waterproof ink. Let me see what I can find. Okay, we're going to make this one work. All right. I recently remembered that there was a pigment blue in the Diamine ink vent, and I have not inked it up yet. And that is the Burr, and it's a pigment and a shimmer. So I'm going to put it in my Banu with a medium nib. We see how that goes. Friends, I don't like to do that, but in this case, I do not have any more yellow pigmented inks. So let me shake this because we already did the pineapple spritz. I'm gonna have to do some research on some yellow waterproof inks. That's perplexing me. I'm usually pretty good about knowing what I have and don't have. I'm trying to think, on the Diamine Forever line, did they put out a yellow ink? Wasn't there like a bright yellow? And friends, I have a little bit of ink stuck in my converter in the back of it, so that shouldn't affect this too much. I did try to clean it out the best I could. And I like to use a hydrosonic cleaner. Okay, and then I just push that up a little bit before putting it back in. Move this out of the way. I'm going to leave that cap open just in case I need to write with it. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can actually see this. So we had an I'll have to change that. So we'll do blue and then waterproof. Okay. So we have a Diamine ink vent. Friends, did you get the ink vent? How many R's are there on Burr? 3. And this is an exclamation point. I'm not sure if that matters. Okay, so if you did get the ink vent calendar, what did you think? This is actually my first time getting the full ink vent calendar. I really loved last year's. I think that was the black one. I didn't get it, but I had got a lot of the bottles that were in it. And then 2020, is it 2020, the purple one? I had a lot that I got bottles from that one. I will probably do it again next year. We'll see how next year is. If we get a lot of like, not quite doozies, but if we get a lot that are like this year, I probably won't, I don't know if I'll do it again. There was a lot of inks that I wasn't too excited about in the 2025 one. Friends, I'm trying to remember what I do. Oh yeah, and then I swatch. Sorry, my brain, baseball's finally kicking in. Finally have, the fields are finally clear enough to do it. Let me shake this up. So I've been running around and I only have a little bit of time in the afternoon to do these. And sometimes I'll have to do like batch ones. So I'm going to be running out of light soon. It's interesting how it goes down bright and then it dries lighter. That's fascinating. I'm not seeing a ton of shimmer in here. If you've used the Diamine Burr, did you have a lot of shimmer in yours? Just wondering maybe if it's stuck at the bottom. Let me shake this really good. I don't know if you can hear me shaking it. Typically, I don't have too many issues with the Diamine shimmers. Like, usually they're pretty well dispersed. Okay, now I can see it. Maybe I didn't shake it good enough. I'll have to probably agitate my converter to get it going in here. All right, friends, I'm gonna let this dry and we'll take a closer look at it. Come on, focus. There we go. So let's see what this looks like when it dries. Okay, friends, we're back. This took a little bit longer to dry than I had wanted. Well, actually, friends, you see that? The one that I diluted the third time is still kind of wet. That's crazy to me. No bleed through on the other page, so that's good. There's some bleed through on this one. That was the Vinta La Paz from yesterday. I was hoping to maybe use this side for something, but I don't think I'm going to. Alright, so this is a pigmented shimmer ink. I'm not seeing anything in the writing. And actually even here, it's almost like the pigment is dulling the shimmer. That is fascinating. Again, this is the first time I put it in a pen. I've been really horrible about putting the ink vents in a pen. Let's see, do it. Yeah, there's shimmer in there. Alright, well, I'll keep writing with it and I'll give a better report at the end of the week, but alright, I'm excited to use this pen, so I'm sure I'll reach for it. Alright, friends, we'll see you tomorrow on day 23 of 30 Inks, 30 Days. Bye now. Hey, inky friends. It's Bailey from the Fountain Pen Ink Station coming at you with a day 23. Yesterday we had a Diamine Burr, a little bit of shenanigans because the universe wanted me to do a waterproof yellow ink, and if you know anything about waterproof pigment ink, there's not really any. And we already inked up the one I did have, which was the Pineapple Spritz. So we'll see what the universe has for us today on day 23. Let's get rolling. Quite literally. Oh, I gotta actually move my dice tower. Okay. I rolled really good. Alright, number 11. Oh, for crying out loud. Alright, and then 12. So, friends, the universe loves me, apparently. We have blue ink and a doodle. So, let me pick one of my thousands of blue inks, because you know I have so many. And I'll find a pen for it, and I will be back here very shortly. Okay. I know this is a really bright blue, but it is technically blue, right? We're going to go with Papier Plume Calais Real. I've had this sample for a while. I'm going to put it in my, I think this is a, sorry friends, Pen BBS. I'm trying to see if I can see the model on it. I want to say it's 308. However, I am blind as a bat. So I'll put it in the video when I find it. I think poppy plumes they're based out of New Orleans, but I think they're one of the more underrated inks. I'm not going to do a lot of blue. I have so many blues already inked up. And this is a fine nib. Can't remember if I've said that or not. Sorry, I am just exhausted from the week. Come on. And I might have to, I'm just going to dip it. I can't remember which ink I had in here before, but I was having some issues with hard starts. So we'll see how this ink does. And I think I just used seller on Etsy for this pen. I tried to order a pen BBS on AliExpress and they never shipped it. So I was able to get a refund, but it was still not a very good experience. For some reason, this is writing really dry. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case this entire time. Well, we'll see. All right, let's do our swatch. This reminds me of Pilot Amarillo. Okay, and I don't have a ton of energy today. We're going to do a pretty simple doodle, I think. This is what I need right now. Except for, here's what I actually really need. Because I am not... I'm a huge fan of hot coffee. Not that you can see the straw in my coffee mug, which I don't have near me, so that's a sign that maybe, hey, I should make some coffee. Okay, friends, I think this is mostly dry, except for, again, where I diluted it. I will say where it's really diluted is really cool. There's a little bit of pink that's coming through. My eyes are really tired, but I don't really see a whole lot of shading in the blue. It is very pretty, though. One of my favorite blues is the Pilot Amarillo. So I think I'll enjoy using this. I don't know if I'll reach for it a ton because I don't write with a lot of blue, but I might surprise myself. So enjoy this little message. Be kind to yourselves. Give yourself grace. Know that you matter and you are enough. We'll see you back here for day 24. Bye, friends. Hey, Inky friends. It's Bailey from the Fountain Penning Station. I hope everybody is doing well day or night, wherever you are at. We are doing day 24, but first, I gotta need you to see this. So, I was using fountain pen ink to do my background. I use Australis Rose, right? And I was like, hey, what if I take a little of this? Check out this cool gradient. I don't even know how to replicate that again. Put a little bit of this down. Did a bit of this on this side. Okay, maybe I'm the one who's like, that is the coolest thing ever. Alright, I'll stop nerding out. Check that out. Okay, so yeah, yesterday we had poppy plume. Calais Real. Yep. I am on my own today. My husband left for Baltimore for work. So I might have to batch some of these. So if I sound exhausted, that's gonna be why. So he won't be back till next week. So I'll have to single parent it on my own for the next few days. I think till Tuesday. All right, let's see what the universe gives. Please be nice to me, universe. Please, 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 please be nice. Please be nice. Actually, you know what, friends? Let's change it up. Let's change it up because I'm in that kind of mood. Let's take our mimic here. Lay it flat. Although it doesn't go flat because there's a big eyeball that sticks out. Come on, universe. Okay. I did not mean to roll them both at the same time, but dexterity, not my strongest suit. So for the color, we have 9 and then we have 18. I don't think I need to write on the writing board, but oh, 9 and 18. Good Lord. Okay, 9 and 18. So we have a purple ink and a deep dive, friends. So I'll be back with the ink and pen of the choice, and then I'll probably have to do the deep dive a little bit later just because it's already in the afternoon and my son's about to be home. So I'll be back here shortly. Okay, friends, I was torn between Robert Oster, Izzy Monster, and Pannonia Aster. So I have a little thing of pens that I just cleaned off to the side, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm gonna check to see if I have a Banu that's clean. Okay, I don't, but I do have a Twisby. I really want to ink up a shimmer. Okay, right, you know what? Life's too short. We're going to do Robert Oster, Izzy Monster, which was, I think, an Atlas exclusive. Correct me if I'm wrong, but... okay, let's see. There should be enough in here. You shake it. Shake it. Shake it real good. Okay. Well, actually, the reason why I have to do the separate video for the deep dive is because my battery is about dead. Oops. I did not mean to almost spill that. Did you guys see that? Nope. Pretend that didn't happen. Alright. Wash it off a little bit. Oh, whoa, bubble. Remember what I had in here before? Is it just called Izzy Monster? Easy. Easy come, easy go, little high, little low. I think it's Alice. And I think this is, pretty sure this is a broad nib. It's shoved way down. I wish they wouldn't do that. Or like put the nib size on the side, but I'm pretty sure this is a broad nib. And this is the glow. No, this is the transparent purple. Friends, what are your preferred pen sizes? Nib sizes? Like right now, because I know sometimes it changes. For me, I love a broad nib, but man, my handwriting sucks with a broad nib. Like, it's a lot more neat when I have a, like a fine nib. I think I'm gonna like writing with this one. Where is my... There, okay. Oh, my brain today. Okay. Has anybody tried this ink before? Hopefully it's still available. If it is, I'll link it down below. I can't tell what shimmer that is. Maybe when it dries, I'll see. It looks like a rose gold, but I don't think it. I don't think it is. It could be a purple shimmer. Yeah, I can't tell in the writing yet. Well, maybe a little bit. Actually, it might be like a pink rose gold shimmer. Okay, friends, we will look at this when it's dry, and then I'll also be back with a deep dive. So we'll do a writing sample and a waterproof sample, but I have to let my battery charge. So we will be back, friends. Thank you, friends. All right, so this is completely dry. I did some prep to set up. So here is Robert Oster, Izzy Monster. It's a really beautiful purple. I thought there was shimmer, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot. Could just been the sample I got. So I'm just trying to see if there's any shimmer. I don't really see any. I'll put in here if it is or not. I'll put it down here in the video. Okay, so I have this waterproof smudge test. I got to get my timer going for our deep dive into seeing how long this takes to dry. I kind of preset up the smudge test, so this has been dry for a while now. We're going to start with 10 seconds, and keep in mind this is my broad nib, so but it should be around the same amount of ink. Did it really only take 10 seconds to dry? I'm just going to do a test for 15 seconds. I'm curious. That's crazy fast if that's the case. Let me go a little heavier on that. That's interesting. Okay, starting the timer now. Okay, well when I laid it heavier, it was it did smudge. I can do 20 seconds just in case. And it's interesting in this broad nib, it doesn't come out as purpley as it does up here. Okay, so I would say in between 15 and 20 seconds to be safe. But if you lay it down, maybe like a fine nib, I bet you 10 seconds will be just fine. Okay, let's do our waterproof smudge test. So with this one, we're just laying some water down. Like, let's say we're spilling our water. Good thing my lid was on that. Water bottle was open, and we spilled some on there. That's what this is. Give it a second, and then we're gonna wipe it clean to see how much is left. Preferably with a cleaner part of my towel. The pink is not from this ink, friends. Sorry. So you can kind of see what's left. I mean, it's not like completely disappeared. We'll see when I actually submerge it what happens. Okay, friends. And then I wanted to show you guys, friends, here's what it looks like in an extra fine nib. And then I used my Jinhao's, so my Jinhao extra fine. For the fine nib, I also used a Jinhao. Medium was also another Jinhao. The broad is the Twisby. The double broad is the Kaweco double broad. And then I have what is this one? I don't even know if there's a Speedball calligraphy pen that is a 1.5 stub at the bottom. You can really see the shading in the ink on that stub nib. My double broad is a very juicy nib, so it like laid it down like really heavy, whereas the stub nib kind of like laid it out in a nice way. Okay, and now I'm going to take, we have Midori paper. We'll see how it looks on Midori. What paper and notebook is everybody using right now? I know the newest thing going around is the Canopus. I have not tried the Canopus paper. I would like to. I'm curious. I'm curious about it, but I haven't done it yet. I'm trying to use what I have, friends. Alright, let's grab a swatch of this on Midori and see how it looks. And I'm gonna set up my cross hatches like I did before for our waterproof submerge test. This is where we'll put it underneath water for a minute, see if anything remains. So far we've done this now, I think this is the third time. The first ink was completely gone. I think that was the Kobe milk chocolate. And then the second time we had Sailor Manhyo Sumayer, and that one actually was not too bad. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'll come back. I'm gonna go submerge this underwater once it's dry, and then we'll see what's left of it. So I'll be back, friends. Okay, friends. Here is what remains of Robert Oster Izzy Monster after a minute. Not a whole lot. So hopefully you only accidentally get some water out from your water bottle, and you can find it right away. The Midori is mostly dry. It laid a lot more vibrant down on the Midori paper. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's try to get closer. It's a lot more muted on the Tomoe River paper. And I'm finding that to be the case a lot of the times. With the Tomoe River paper, it just goes down a bit more muted. I actually prefer to use Midori paper. I'm out of Midori paper right now. And it seems to be out of stock everywhere for the dot grid. I like the dot grid more than I like the grid. So that's what we have, friends. We will see what we roll for day, would that be 25? I don't know what is on my notebook. Sorry, friends. Okay, so we'll see what we roll for day 25. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends. Hey, Inky friends. Welcome back for day 25 of 30 inks and 30 days. I hope everybody is doing well, whether the day or night where you're at. I'm so glad that you're here to join us. We are going to see what the universe rolls for us. Yesterday we had Robert Oster Izzy Monster, and I put that in my Twisby Eco. Oh, there is shimmer, look. For some reason I'm not getting this shimmer in the writing. So I'm going to keep agitating it, and we'll see at the end of the week if I actually get any out or not. Alright, friends, I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to use my Grimoire box today. And we're just going to roll both at the same time and just give that a roll. The purple is our color. The pink is our prompt for reference. Okay, we have 5 and 1. So an orange or red ink, and it needs to be waterproof. So I'm going to go see what I have. I might have a couple options. So let me go see what I have, and I'll be back here in shortly. Okay, friends. I'm going to go with a pen that I've had inked up, and I don't use it enough. It's the Platinum Preppy in red, and it's with a octopus write and draw ink called Red Duck. I had gotten this a while ago. Move this off to the side. Move this off to the side. Oh, I'm making a mess here. I don't think I have any other red waterproof ink. Let's see if this still writes. Yeah, it does. And I use my Preppies a lot for waterproof ink. I typically don't have issues. I won't say I never have issues. I typically don't, but I sometimes do. I will say I have never had an issue with this ink in this pen in this nib size. And hopefully my lighting is okay. Okay. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, this is kind of what it looks like in the bottle. It's very thick. And you can sometimes get like little crusties on the bottle. Well, if I get like little crusties on the nib, friends, what I do is I just wipe it off with a cloth. If you do a paper towel, you run the risk of getting some cloth, like, well, even with a cloth, I guess. But I've only had this issue with paper towels where you run the risk of getting fibers into your nib, which then makes it really hard. The clogs. I actually have one right now that I did that with. Oops. And I cannot get it out, so just be careful when you're doing it. And you want to make sure you rinse your nibs really good when you're using waterproof ink. Just because it is a thicker nib. I don't know if you can, or thicker ink. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. This is a really well lubricated ink. Okay, and we'll see what it looks like when it dries. It dries a little bit more matte than this. So let's just wait for it to dry and I will come right back. Okay, friends, I'm going to submerge this in water for a minute. I'm curious to see how waterproof is Octopus Write and Draw Red Duck. Let's put this to the test officially for 1 minute submerging. I'll be back here in literally 1 second. For you, it'll be a little bit for me. Counting down. Well, friends, check it out. I'd say that's pretty darn waterproof. 0 amount came off. Again, 1 minute submerge test, nothing came off. That is nuts. Look how flimsy that paper is now. So I think your paper is going to be gone before your ink is. I'd say that's a success, friends. All right, let's take a closer look at this. So we have Octopus Fluids Write and Draw ink, Red Duck, in a Platinum Preppy, in a 5 nib. That's kind of like a medium for the Platinum pens. And then here's the swatch. That is not sheen. It's just because it's so heavy when it lay down, it comes off as a sheen. And then here's the writing of it. What do you think, friends? Have you used Write and Draw inks? Will you now that I've tried it and I have shown that it is waterproof? Let me know, friends. Do you want to see how many Octopus Write and Draw inks I have? Would you be curious on the different colors? Let me know down in the comments. We'll see you back here for day 26. Bye, friends. Hey, inky friends. Welcome back for day 26. We're in the final stretch of 30 inks, 30 days. I hope you're well, wherever you're at, day or night. We are going to roll today for day 26 and see what we get. Yesterday, we had a Write and Draw ink from Octopus Fluids, Red Duck. We did a waterproof test with it. It held up surprisingly well. So we'll see what today gives. I'm going to use my Grimoire box again. And we're going to roll. Just a reminder, the purple dice is for our color. The pink dice is for our prompt. So let's see what the universe rolls for us today. I'm going to shake this really good as much as I can with my dexterity and arthritis issues. So let's get going. Okay, so for our color we have 16. And for our prompt we have 13. So we have a brown ink and a favorite quote. So let me see what I can find and I will be back here shortly. Okay, friends, so we have, come on, focus, a brown ink, and this is a really light brown, but I think it classifies as brown. Califolio Inca Sol, and I believe Vanessa still carries this one. I'm actually surprised I've not put this in a pen yet. So I'm going to put it in my Jinhao. I know I use my Jinhaos a lot, but they're my favorite pen to use and they're affordable, so. And I did about a half of a fill. And then, friends, if I end up liking the ink, I usually add more, depending on how fast I go through it. So I'm going to just get this going. I'm going to prime it by dipping it. I don't think I have put this in a pen yet. I don't have too many experiences with Califolio ink. Sol, I think is what it was. It seems like a drier ink. I don't, it could just be, maybe I need to push the ink up. Oh, no, it's gonna bubble. I probably didn't need to do that. Oh, there it goes. And do you think I remembered my cloth? Nope. Okay, well, we're just gonna keep going. Jinhao 82. I call this the coffee sparkle pen, just because there's glitter and it's, I think, the coffee colorway with a medium nib. And this is usually a really wet nib, so that's why I think this might be a little bit of a drier ink. All right, let's do our swatch. Of course, I got ink on my hand. It's very pretty. I will give it that. I just don't like how dry it feels. Have you used this brand before? And if so, what's your experience with it? I'll have to look through and see what other ones I have. I think I only have... Actually, I don't even know if... I'll have to look. Okay, yeah, I have two more. So I have Califolio Bacal, that's a blue, and then Califolio and a hot Huac. It's like a orangish brown. So I do have a couple samples of it. And if I seem a little defeated, it's because it's the end of the weekend. It's the weekend. Tomorrow's Monday. And my husband's still on his trip in Baltimore. So. It's not a bad ink. There we go, friends. Well, I will be back for a review. Probably later today when I have a chance to actually use this one. So it won't be an official review on this one, but the other ones at least. And I will be back a little bit later. Bye, friends. Hey, friends. I forgot to write my quote. Alright, so just getting ready to do my overview of the weekly inks. And it's already 6 o'clock in the evening. My sun's going down. So my quote is pretty easy today. I've been having a rough few months. So my quote today is quite easy. It's just a reminder that today's tears will water Tomorrow's Gardens. Granted, the raincoat too as well. But this is an easy quote and something to remember when you're having hard days. I hope the glare is not too bad, friends. The quote comes from Machana, and I don't want to butcher her last name and give, I just want to be respectful of it. So it's Dihwayo. So today's Tears Water Tomorrow's Gardens by Mathsana Dawawo. So I just want everybody to know that just because today is hard does not mean that tomorrow will be hard, and that sometimes our tears can be of good. And typically when we're having a hard day does not mean that every day is going to be hard. It's just one of those obstacles we overcome because we're stronger than we think. So I'm going to go grab my overview. Zoom out a little bit. Alright, I apologize for the lighting. So on the first day we had, on the 20th, Birmingham Company Blossom Lotus. I've liked using this more than I thought. It's a very bright bubblegum type pink. And I don't know if you guys can see, I still have some leftover shimmer in that pen. I don't even remember what I had in there, but it's kind of like a little shimmer bonus. I don't think I'll need a bottle of it if it ever comes back in stock at Birmingham, but it is pretty to write with. And then we have Vinta La Paz in my Skogsy, and that has been a struggle for me to write with because it's so broad. I would like to try this pen in a smaller, medium, even a fine or medium nib, because it seems like it's really juicy ink from Vinta, so I'm excited to give that a go. It's not quite a mustard brown, and it's not quite like a traditional brown. So it's a really dark leaning yellow that leans towards brown, but it's not gold either. And then my day 22 was the Inkjet Burr. I'm not sure if I just had too much water in my nib. This is a little bit more dull in comparison to what it should look like. I did finally pick up some shimmer in the writing. Let's see if we can... I'm not sure if that's going to pick it up. Sometimes I don't see it on the camera until after I'm reviewing the video. And then Papier Plume Calais Real. It's a really pretty blue. It's really bright. It's a lot like other blues that I have. I won't be getting a full bottle of this, but I will enjoy the sample I have. And then we have Robert Oster Izzy Monster. This is a really pretty purple. There's some nice shading that shades a little bit darker, like a dark gray. And there is a shimmer in it that I didn't initially catch when we were doing the initial inking up. And I can see it in the writing. Oops, sorry. Ignore this. This was from something I must have had on the nib. But yeah, you can see it. I promise if you can't see it in the video, it's only because my lighting is a little bit weird right now. And then we have Octopus Write and Draw Duck, Platinum Preppy. It's been a solid waterproof red ink. I've never had issues with it clogging. You can't go wrong with that one. And then this Califolio Inca Sol, I've only had it inked up for today. I have noticed it's really dry though, so I don't foresee myself writing with it too often. I don't know if you could see here, it's really light in this nib. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll keep writing with it. So that is for days 20 through 26, a bigger nib. So let me know, friends, what you thought, what your favorites were. Have you tried any of these inks? Any of them your favorites? Let me know. Until then, friends, and we have, what, 5 more days left in April. It's almost May. I'll see you on the next one, friends. Until then, bye.